Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another week of Worlds Collide. I'm going to turn my microphone down because it's way too loud. I'm Javinator, one of your commentators tonight, and I am joined by Saberwolf. Saberwolf, say hello to the people.
Hey, people. How you doing?
So tonight we have another ladder race, as we've had a few times throughout the season, between Sato Kiaba and the Schwantz. It should be a good one for you tonight, and we're going to get this started very shortly. Mr. Saberwolf, why don't you talk a little bit about the ladder, if you don't mind?
So the ladder series, this is week 10 of that series. So this is a season-long event where we have several racers. I believe we have a total of, I think it's around 18 or 20 people left that are still running in the series. There's going to be as you progress through the time, certain times that you get, you're going to get a score, and that's going to give you your ELO kind of numbers. And after the season's over, we'll see if we can pair people off maybe a tournament at the end of this. So it's been fun. It's been interesting. I've had my best run I've had in the last month, so so that's good.
And I'm not abandoning you totally. I'm just trying to set up some stuff for the race here while we're talking. The racer should be getting started here pretty soon.
I know you're multitasking. And if those of you at home that are watching this, if you want to get on the action, go ahead and head over to ff60bc.com. You can run your own seed in this. And here we go. We had a start of Shadow, Strago, and Saiyan, or Kane, however you want to say it. Strago with health. So Strago, usually a weaker character that most people don't really care for, but having health this early in the game, not knowing if you're going to have any healing or anything, is a very good extra skill to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with what I've heard from a lot of the ladder participants this year, just in the last few weeks, is a lot of seeds apparently have not had a lot of healing. And so something like health, while it's not a damage dealing ability, which a lot of people really like, yeah, I bet you in some of these seeds it would have come in real handy as basically a free cure too for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, for I think 3 of the past, we don't know. Well, we're not going to give away any spoilers on this race because all these ladder races, these two are running this completely blind. They don't know where anything is, where the randomizing locations are, or where the espers are. They're going to be completely blind, so no spoilers yet, even though we have the spoiler sheet from us. But yeah, about 2 or 3 of the last 4 races, we've had almost no cure 2, no cure 3, no life 3 available, so having health is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So we should have a good race for you tonight. We've got a couple good racers here. The Schwantz a little bit newer than Sato, but as I mentioned, this is week 10 of the ladder, and so I really love watching the leaderboard on this thing and watching racers basically improve throughout the season and watch their times get better. And so the top 10 racers of the season, there's only this week and 2 following weeks after it, get to move on to a playoff round. And so this is an important race for both of them. We have Sato Kiaba currently in 8th, so looking to maintain kind of his position in that top 10 so he can move on. And we have the Schwantz in 14th, basically just within reach of the of that top 10. So, it's really good. Both racers looking to put up a good time, keep their positions good, and hopefully move on to the next round. The competition around 10th has been very tight and lots of movement, so I'm really excited to see how it's going to finish out for the season.
A couple of notes there in the game here. Calibers are for sale in the weapon shop in Narsh there. And also, Saiyan, or Kane, is a thrower, which is another great ability to have in randomizers. So, and early on, found some bolt edges there in the item shop. So that's a big item. So you have health and a throwing item. And you also have Celeste, a vanilla Celeste.
Yeah, no, throw is one of those great skills because obviously you can throw weapons and shurikens and all those other throwables, which use your vigor stat as the battle power of what you're throwing to determine the damage you're throwing things, and then things like bolt edge and and the fire edges and stuff use your magic power. So with Cyan, he's probably not too much of a magical guy. His magic stat's pretty low, so those bolt edges can be useful, but they're not going to be amazing. But I'll tell you, the if you can get some real good throwables, and if you can find some tack stars, if you can find some ninja stars for sale, he's going to be doing a lot of damage with that stuff.
Or find an Esper with a magic power, even magic power 2 would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So pretty side-by-side standard route. I did the exact same route when I ran this a few days ago. But early on, Celeste gives you a lot of options. Magitech, actually, a lot of these guys. You have Sand with the Dream. You got Celeste with the Magitech facility, and you got Shadow with the Sky Island there. A lot of chaining checks that these characters can offer for these runners here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they follow the same path after South Figaro. I suspect they're both going to go there and get Celeste's first check there, very likely. But after that, we'll see how the seed opens up for them. There are a lot of options depending on what you want to do. Some people really like to go get Espers right away. Some people want to go for the kind of dual checks and save the Espers till later. Yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, the double check that you mentioned is usually South Figaro, flip over, South Figaro again, will ruin. But having Celeste in the party, like, that gives you also a free check on top of that for getting Esperan. And that's an offering in the Relic Shop in the balance world there.
Yeah, offering is one of those funny things, right? It's usually a blessing. It's usually very good, but you need the weapon to pair with it. And so hopefully we'll find something that they can use to pair with that. Oh, there's your shurikens.
Shuriken. Yep.
Yeah, shurikens aren't, like, they're not amazing, but I'll tell you, they're super cheap. You can always buy a ton of them. And one of the great things about throw is that it misses that defense, right? So even if you're fighting something annoying like a Magimaster, shuriken can take you a long way, especially with a thrower like Cyan with that high vigor.
Looks like the Schwann's is going to skip the far barrel check there. Nerva's in the armor shop.
I'm a horrible shopper in this game, and so I always get nervous when I start finding all these amazing things in shops, and I don't know which things I want to buy. I'm like, wow, Nervas, wow, look at all this cool offerings. This is all so great. I have $1,000 or 1,000 GP. Cool.
And more water edges there, so more throwing elemental stuff for Sand to use. Schwann's kind of skipping it. Wing Edge is not a throwing star as weapon, but the cool thing is when they check later, Wing Edge is able to be used for almost everybody in this party. So.
Yeah, Wing Edge is a great pickup early, I find. One thing, it lets you put people in the back row, which is of course really important for damage, or for the damage you're going to take. But it also has the ability to do that instant kill, and so you know, early game, if you're looking to clear out mobs, sometimes those instant death procs can be really good.
So Sabin is in the Celeste check here, and Schwann's is going to pass on Dance. I actually took Sabin with me because Steel and Shadow doesn't do much of anything. And Sabin is known to be a very hard hit puncher. Let's see if Seto takes him. Nope, he's going to pass him as well.
Yeah, Dance is one of those volatile skills where it can be a blessing and a curse. It can be really good to get you through the start of a seed sometimes if you get the right dances. But if it's on a character with, say, low magic, it's not as useful, and you really need to be able to grow that character in some other way, whether it be turn them into some kind of a jumper, or give them really good magic if they do have that good magic stat. So sometimes you'll see people pass on those dance characters just because it's almost like a trap for endgame.
Yeah, I hear you, but for me, it's that if you have two characters, neither one of them are really going to offer you very much, like Dance versus Steel, you know? for the magic power on Saban being low. Saban has a better like punch ability than Shadow does, so I would have taken Saban there. But
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they're thinking. Oh, we saw some Dragoon boots there in Zen, but you know, I saw an offering available. I'm not saying I would have thought of this in the time because I'm not good at that, but you know, we did see an offering available, and one of the best weapons you can pair with an offering is a Valiant Knife, which Shadow will be able to equip, but probably not Sabin. So that could be something they're thinking about, knowing that there's an offering available if they're thinking that far ahead.
that is very true.
Either that or they just didn't want to pick them.
Now
we're like hyper analyzing this. They might have just been like, nah, I'm good.
Now, one bad thing about the Wing Edge is it does automatic kill. Is a percentage chance of doing that, and unfortunately versus undead, not very healthy. So
No, definitely not. When you do that, when they die and come back like that, they come back at full health. So you definitely don't want to be doing that against tougher enemies. But this is a great pack to run into. He's loaded up with Revivifies. Look at all that experience. Pretty easy fight. So really, really good fight to run into this early.
now we got the Schwans jumping out. He's speeding through this seat already. 10 out of 10 minutes. He's already got his shopping done. South Big Road. He's going to the World of Ruin. And he's going to, I believe that's Jidor, yeah.
Might be going for an early auction house. I know recently he's been practicing some new things and trying out some new stuff. And he's been trying to get more early espers. And so he could be looking at the auction house at this point. But I'm not sure if he has enough money to buy anything there. So he could just be shopping and going kind of like in an off-normal shopping route as well. And he finds experience eggs. Wow, that's a big find.
Yeah, for sale.
I would be selling all 5 of those elixirs. Yep, there he goes.
Yeah, that's what he did. Did he buy it though? That was quick.
No, I suspect he is going to save and maybe check out the auction house. I think he's having trouble deciding what he wants to do.
Yeah, he's piecing. Glowing stones are available. Yeah, he's not okay. So he did a dip check there of seeing what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know he actually mentioned it in the Discord recently that he wants to intentionally get early espers so that he can get the bonuses on the characters. Like they're only level 3, right? So you can build up some really powerful characters if you do that. Of course, he's also got an experience egg available, which is extremely powerful. So yeah, it's not a simple choice. I don't think.
Yeah, and unfortunately, none of the characters he has can equip some of these items. I will say that because they're not listening to us, that Wing Edge is available to be used on Saban. So, just to throw that out there.
Yeah, I'm crazy. If I was in this situation, I'd go Scorched Earth. I would have sold both of those Wing Edges, and I would have sold both of those Tabby suits. Got myself a big chunk of change, and just bought it all out.
Get to that point yet. You see the treasure chest. Here's a edge.
So this is actually not worth buying. This is not worth buying. It's kind of a trap. So the way the logic works in the auction house is there's actually a kind of the $50,000 item at the top, and then the way the logic works is it kind of splits, and then it splits and it splits.
We bought it anyways.
Yeah, it's not well known. Kind of the conventional wisdom is just buy everything in the auction house because it increases your odds of getting an Esper. That's not actually true. He actually just increased his odds of getting an Imp robot by buying the cheap item, which is not intuitive. But so this means that there are, I believe, there's only going to be one Esper here. Oh no, never mind. Sorry, this is the $50,000 hairband. I missed some of the initial wording.
$50,000 for a hairband. You better like that girl.
Yeah, and Doesn't he explained it better than I could in words in the chat there, if anybody takes a peek. But basically, if you look at what he said, he bought the 10K item at the bottom, And because of that, he actually made it easier. So, or I mean, sorry, easier to get the Imp Robot. So hopefully that doesn't bite him. This looks like it's going to be the $20,000 item, so there's only one Esper here.
Yep, and unfortunately this is a Pro Lance, so hopefully somebody will be able to use that. We know there's Dragoon boats available in one of the relic shops. And there's a Ragnarok instead of a clock there for Seto.
That's a great find. Especially with Celis in your party, so you know you've got someone who can equip it. Everybody else in the party has actually relatively poor equipables. So it is nice having Celis there, who is kind of a guaranteed person who can equip the Ragnarok or the Illuminus or any of that other good stuff.
Well, Wing Edge can be equipped by Shadow and by Strago there, but he elected to not equip it and sell them. Still trying to get that early Esper here.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a sunk cost fallacy going on a bit here, but there's the Esper for him.
Yeah.
And Sato's going through Thamiza, another popular early game looting spot. Can't blame him for that. There's one of each type of shop. You can hit him fairly quickly. There's lots of loot available, so it is a common check early. The question is whether he'll go for that early burning house or not. That can be that's a really, it's such a long check, and then every once in a while it saves you, so we'll see if he wants to take that risk or not. There's a lot of other not burning house checks available, so I personally wouldn't, but you never know.
More shuriken various things available, so great throwing seed. But versus like floating island and like that, there's other ones that you can do to raise your levels up.
Absolutely.
That versus the burning house. I mean, burning house just feels bad. I mean, he's already at level 11. He took some fights in the underground there in South Figaro. So I imagine that it's hard to pass on the burning house.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if he gives that gauntlet, if Sato gives that gauntlet to Celis. I would have, personally, because she doesn't actually have a shield equipped anyway, so you might as well get that extra power swinging it with the gauntlet on, but it's still pretty good even without it. There is a question in the chat. If you're going for or not able to buy the 50k item, is it better to go to the World of Balance auction house? It is not. So the World of Balance auction house never removes the items from the item pool, and so you have, even if you buy those expensive items, it does not increase your chances of getting the Espers. So if you want the items, that's not a bad way to go, and you have lots and lots of money, but it's not a good play if you're looking to increase your odds of getting the Espers.
Yepper. So get a little easy check here for first save and check, which is the base. Very easy boss fight, or not even boss fight, just very easy fight in general. Bolt Edge is going to do it. Every single character on Seto's team has earrings, except for the one Vocal Charm. And we got an imp that we're going to have to help out here.
Yeah, I like Imperial Camp as an early check, personally. There's no boss at the end. It's not that many encounters. This flag set has escapable all, so if you've got warp stones or smoke bombs, you can get away, or you can just run if you're willing to maybe take a hit or two. Otherwise, you fight the stuff and you get the experience, and it's a relatively quick check. So I do like it as an early check because of that, and I think a lot of other people do too.
Now it's a bunch of rabbits and lettuce, so this should not be a very hard fight. It's a very early game monster for coming in. We got a party change here for Schwans, and now he's going to drop the Shadow.
Ooh. Well, there you go. There you go. I know you wanted Shadow gone.
Yeah, Shadow. When I ran the seat, I saw Shadow. As soon as I got Celeste to save, I'm like, nope, Shadow, you're the weakest link. Goodbye.
And we've got Saito fighting a landworm, which can be a little bit difficult, but it's actually a lot of experience. This is a great find for him. It is vulnerable to instant death, so I think he's fighting with Shadow there and really hoping he catches that instant death on the wing edge.
Yep, and but looks like we're at the pop of health here, but that's what Strago, he's gonna just be a heal machine this whole entire seed, so yeah. And Schwant's got that Ragnarok and that clock check there, so.
There's a question in the chat about the best place to find information on competitive or ladder or whatever's going on in the time. I would recommend joining the Discord if somebody can pop that command up. Thank you. Actually, I noticed some of the chat, it's already come up with the Nightbot, but you can head on to the Discord. There's lots of friendly people there. That's how you get involved in these races and these restreams. And it could be you on the microphone next. Please volunteer. Or head over to ff6wc.com, of course, to roll up your own seeds. If you go to ff6wc.com and you look at the top, there is a link to a wiki. And in that wiki, there are links to various event pages, such as the ladder. You can check out the ladder leaderboard. You can check out the results from each of the races. There was a mention there about getting or replaying these ladder seeds. I don't know if they're posted on the website. It's a good idea to maybe try to get them up there, but if you join the Discord and you ask for them, we can definitely get them to you if you're interested. So please do that.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Yeah, double tech laser to Celeste's face. That isn't good.
No. And with her, I think she, like I said, I don't think she has a shield or any armor on, so she's very vulnerable to basically everything.
Yeah, when I ran this, Celeste was pretty, I hate to say it this way, but she was pretty damn naked for like pretty much the entire scene. And even then, the best thing I could find for her was a Magus hat, and I think it was like a white dress maybe. I think that was about it.
Well, if you can get the money together, we do know where there are Minervas for sale.
That is true. Yeah, there was like 60,000. So.
Yeah.
Armor is fake. Yeah. Tell that to the Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah, luckily, not luckily, probably on purpose, but Saito did have those bolt edges, and Air Force, like most of the kind of metallic or robotic or whatever enemies in the game, they are weak to water and electricity. So even though Cyan is kind of missing out on that magic power, those bolt edges still do a significant amount of damage.
Yep, and it looks like Seto's going to set up for the chain. Now, that's a good thing to do. If you have a Saiyan and you have Arcane, if you have a Sabin available for checks, you can just chain 3 away around that eastern section of the map on the World of Balance. You can just hit the base, and then you hit the castle, then you hit the train, do the train peak. If it's not an Esper, you can bail, and it's going to be a Setzer. Reset. Not even going to check what Setzer has for an ability.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I bet he's just kind of keeping that in his back pocket and going to collect Espers instead, because it's very likely in sometime in the next 8 Espers that he needs to collect, he'll find his 6th character. So I do get the play, and there are quite a few good checks. Basically, most of the checks other than Strago's are available to him. So I do get the play there.
Yeah, you got Cyan, you got Shadows checks, Sabin's checks, Celeste checks. Those are like the best checks in the game, probably, to do, because they're longer checks, but you can get like, hell, Magic Facility, we've seen like 3 Espers come out of just one run through the Magic Facility. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I probably would have gone for it, but I'm not a very good racer anymore. And I'm a sucker for Setzer, because regardless of his abilities and stuff, I love his checks. I love the instant fight against Doomgaze. I love Daryl's Tomb. There's a high chest density there, and it's easy to reset out of that check. And Kalinjin is just a free one, and it's a good excuse to check those shops. So I would have been a sucker and grabbed it, but I totally get the play Saito did, and it's probably the better play.
Just a word to know, we have Sabin Swans added to the party. Can use the Pearl Lance and has Dragon Boots. So
Yeah.
once again, we see another week with a jumping Sabin with high vigor, because I think he's got the highest vigor in the game. Can do a lot of damage with those jumps. Now all you need to do is find a Dragon Boot. He's good to go.
Yeah, that's the thing with Sabin is if you can find the if he happens to get those good equipables, he can be very good. Sometimes though you get him and he just can't equip anything. He's one of those very divisive characters.
Strago muting the land one. That's interesting.
So I don't know where Schwantz put his Esper, but I'm wondering if he may have considered putting it on Celeste. Well, I didn't actually see what the bonus was on the Esper, to be honest.
I don't even know what the Esper was.
We're great commentators, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
It was a Karen, which I'll figure it out.
Okay, MP plus 50%. So I don't know.
Okay,
I would have maybe considered giving that to Celis early, just so she could get a little more value out of her Ragnarok swings because of the MP crits. But probably not necessary. But anyway, it's something I would have considered.
Oh, so
going for the monster in a box.
Back to the monster box, yeah. But it's a vanilla. Nothing there.
So we see Sato having a bit of a debate here about what to do. He wants Realm because she is the murder child with the absolute massive magic power, which makes her generally good. Even though she only has GP range, you're going to find Espers and they're going to have spells, probably. So she's good. But he wanted to keep Strago. He wanted to keep everybody, basically. So that's definitely one of those kind of tough decisions you end up running into in a seed where...
Yeah, I didn't see who he kept. I think Realm's still in the party, but I don't...
Yeah, he dropped Shadow.
Dropped Shadow, okay. Yeah, I got Realm very late in my run, so she didn't make the team in the end. It was just too far. It was just too late. Rating seeds, so there's nothing for her to win. Not to mention that, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's nice having all these earrings available early like this, especially when you've got like a realm start. So really, if Sato can find some decent Espers with some decent magic, he's sitting in a decent spot here, right? He's got Cyan with throw, which can be an end game strat if you can find the stuff to throw. He's got Realm with high magic if you can get the Espers. He's got Celis swinging a Ragnarok, which is good enough for end game. So he's in a pretty good spot. He just needs to find those Espers and get going.
Yeah, it's gonna be a dead check with a go-go. Nobody wants a go-go, so...
No. So it'll be interesting to see if Sato also does the like a relatively early opera house, or not opera, wow, sorry. Auction house peak here. He's definitely going to go do Realms check, which I also like to do early because there's a couple fixed encounters there that can boost your levels. But yeah, some people... Ooh, experience egg, nice.
Whoa!
But
I always
yes.
forget about that stupid urn. I always forget about that.
Yeah. I don't know actually if you checked the relic shop and found out that there are going to be more experience eggs available for money, but we'll see if he checks that on the way out.
Not on the front end, but ooh, not a... I always hate seeing these badass monster slash, beholder kind of beasts in these games, and there's the XP egg for Swans, but yeah, just the conditions that these things spit out is just awful. But easy kill on that.
That was an interesting check, given that he doesn't have Realm to run in there and get the chest, but, it is close. Like, if you're in here anyway and you're doing looting, it's nothing to pop in there and grab that extra chest.
Yeah, that was it. That was interesting. I forgot that he doesn't have Realm yet.
So he's selling a ton of stuff, likely to get other experience eggs, and you'll see this. You know, it's pretty common with experienced racers because experience eggs, like we talk about vigor and we talk about magic power and all this other kind of stuff, but really nothing does more damage than levels. And so if you can get that experience egg, you put it on, you get those levels, and you're going to do more damage. Doesn't matter.
I love seeing the sky turkey there.
All right, so let's see what the boss is here for Ozer's Basement.
Schwanz is gonna do a kind of a turn. He's gonna go to Mount Zozo, which is the cyan check.
Or it looked like he was going to. I think he maybe just decided to do Doma instead or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything until he picks something.
Balance. It's my bad. Never mind. He's
All
a
right,
world of balance.
Magitech. And we got Sato fighting the Dataluma, which is not a bad thing to find. It's one of those bosses where you're just kind of like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about this one. Swing, fight, no problem.
Yep, he's gonna go for the Magitech facility check instead.
Yeah, we'll see if he goes through all three. With all of the other checks he has available, I'm not sure he would. Especially because he's really only chasing Espers. Yeah, he needs another character, but you don't have to jump down the rabbit hole of Magitech 3 to get one.
Talk to the Cure Child. That's a free heal for you.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah, that's one of those.
Hi to Kia. Thank you for the Twitch Prime there. Appreciate it.
Ooh, excellent. Yeah, I'm a horrible commentator because I don't remember, but I do know that any money that Ravlin is still here, I think, but any money that's raised by the channel or that goes into the channel, I believe, is just donated to charity. Ravlin probably has a better idea of what charity it is because he's one of our wonderful admins. But yeah, charity rocks. Go charity.
Yay. Oh, not gonna go for... Let's see if Swans goes for the extra chest inside the facility. It's just gonna run through.
It gets donated to the next event that a community member is doing. And when he says event, he means charity event. And so, there you go.
Maybe we should do a rotating 24-hour stream on here.
Yeah.
Just rotate people doing some randomizers here. That's a Magimaster in the sky. Uh-oh.
Yeah, you don't like finding that when you haven't built up the offense for it. Luckily, he does have throw. He's got berserk. So I think he just panic berserked Celis though.
Oh, just berserk Celis, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. It'll be interesting to see if he goes for this again though. It'll be interesting to see if he goes for this again because basically Magimaster is trivial if you can get that berserk off.
Yes.
And so getting through that gate, yeah, he will. Wait, did he forget to save? Oh no.
He's gotta go all the way back.
Yep. This is very relatable. I forget to save all the time.
Fortunately, taking Esper off the board there for
well, he'll have it back in a sec, but yeah, that's an unfortunate time waste. That's a few minutes, and you know, if you see the times on the ladder that get posted on the leaderboard, like, you know, a few minutes is a big difference in these seeds. So it is really unfortunate to see that. But you know, it's one mistake. It's a few minutes. Lots of people make lots of mistakes as you go. So you know, he's still got a great opportunity here to put up a good time.
Yep. Oof. Ouch. Big bolt too there. So unfortunately, Sabin kind of ineffective here with the Pearl Lance because it's a healing. It heals the Wexer Alexium towards holy damage. The Datalama goes down for Seto. Should hopefully be the last hit there for Celeste. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, a little unfortunate that Sign didn't get the experience there, but it's more important to get through the fight. Like, yes, if you can get everybody up and get them all the experience, great, but you have to win the fight. That's key. So I suspect we're going to see Sato after that success immediately save upon exiting the town. I hope.
Yeah. Learn from the mistakes. Oh, buy the Megas hats on the way out the door. But too many there, but that's okay.
It didn't even load the map.
Jamming on the X or Y button, whichever one you have applied to. And unfortunately, that was a dead check there for Schwantz.
We got Sato doing the free check here, which is not a bad play. I don't know if he saved beforehand. Not that it matters because he saved relatively soon before. See him taking that free heal. That is an instant heal only if you're in this panic mode where Sabin needs to save the kid. And it's not showing a character, so he's going to go for the check.
Should quote unquote be an Esper, I think. Let's hope.
Meanwhile, Schwantz is going to move along and see what the number 24 boss is going to show him. And then we'll see if he warps out or not.
Also known as Magimaster Jr. This
Ooh,
one's,
there's the Dragon Horn.
The Dragon Horn, there it is.
That's a great find. That's a great find.
So Sabin is online officially.
Yeah,
channeling
like,
brother.
Really, the game, you know, it's you're looking for espers and characters, but what you're also simultaneously doing is building up your end game offense, right? And so when you basically need 3 characters, or at least 3 teams of characters that have that end game offense. And so Cells with the Ragnarok is good, Sign with Throw is good, and with Sabin getting a Dragon Horn and Dragoon Boots with a Pearl Lance, like, you're there. So that's kind of a sigh of relief. Now you just go through, you level up, you do other stuff like that, but you've got your offense. Theoretically, if you live through the fight.
Yeah, that was a rough opener from Shadowknock. I mean, just you had to sit there and wait for the growth to go away. But holy damage is going to do a little extra against the demon here. But yeah, Cyan just can't stay up right now. As your thrower, it's really important to keep him up.
Yeah, I think he's starting to, he didn't live through the last one, and so you fall behind, and then you start to die fast again. Also, Chatternook just has a hate on for Cyan for some reason, and just keeps Cast and Bolt 2 on him.
It wasn't just Chatternook, it was a previous one too. Just doesn't want him up. So we're gonna have to pass on the Phoenix down this time around. Ooh, that's a purple block too. That's good.
Alright, so Cyan misses out on another couple levels, which is unfortunate, so we'll see if
can catch up.
Can catch up, yeah. We'll see if Schwantz shifts that over and routes in a dragon or something like that to kind of make up some of those levels. Because in the ladder flag set, dragons are scaled, so they're fairly easy to beat. And we've got Siren with a HP plus 100%. That's a great find. He already had mute, I believe, so it's not like you needed it for the mute, but that HP plus 100% is always good.
Yeah, Flare, good non-elemental spell, but at times 1, it's going to be a little slow, I guess.
Yeah, the main benefit of that Esper is for sure the bonus. Well, and using the Esper itself, because it is a bulk mute if you need that, but...
I actually put the 100% health on Strago because I knew he was going to Megabot the entire seed. So just to buff him up a little bit. Actually not buff him up, beef him up.
Right. Yeah, we'll see if... So we've got Schwantz going for the Magitech cart ride. Apologize, everybody. I was not supposed to commentate tonight, so all my mistakes are
That's okay.
Immediately excused. Yeah. But, a lot of people will actually warp out of Magitech Factory right after doing that because, there's at most 1 reward here. You've got to fight 2 bosses and 3 fixed encounters just to get and even see that 1 reward. And it could be a character or an Esper. So a lot of people skip it because there are a lot of other checks available and you probably don't need that character. But we'll see if it pays off. So, sometimes you get to the end of this and it gives you exactly what you need. So, Who's to say?
Levels, but he needs the levels on Cyan. So these are some automatic fights I was talking about before, where you could just get some levels, and just stay ahead of the curve. Just do quick boss fights the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's true. I would probably use like if levels are all you're really going for, I'd probably route in a dragon instead, because it's a lot faster. With them being scaled, you could probably take them out pretty quick with this team. But I do see the value there for sure of doing the doing that.
Speaking of Dargans, there's a white Dargan on the screen.
Yeah, white dragon. I think he just tried muddle, which is actually what the red dragon is vulnerable to. With white dragon, you want to use mute. It's valuable not just for saving the trouble of getting hit with those pearls, but it's also nice because you don't have to worry about all this long casting time. I don't know. Yeah. I know Schwantz has that mute, but it doesn't look like Sato does, so he's got to go through this fight the hard way.
Yeah.
Again, though, with it scaled, you probably shouldn't have too tough a time. And we've got Atma on Schwantz's screen, which is really unfortunate for Sabin because Atma is another one of those bosses that absorbs Pearl or Holy damage. And he's about to find that out when Sabin lands here.
The hard way. Yep. They've got another question, Chad. There are no quote-unquote guaranteed character checks, right? Just character possible / not possible. There are a couple places where you can kind of peek certain characters like that. There's Narsh in the doorway. There's also there's the train like we saw with Setzer there. You can also peek in the shadow check and the Cave of the Valdette. So there's certain ones you can take a peek and see whether or not you want to do it or not, so you can see the reward before you get it, and you can just bail out on them. So.
Yeah, so the comment was made there that there are guaranteed Esper checks. I don't believe that's actually the case. Every check is a mix of something. It can either be character Esper item, or character Esper. Some checks are definitely guaranteed progress, where it will be a character or an Esper, and definitely not a dead check with an item, but there are none that are guaranteed to be an Esper. And we saw Sato there pick up one of the most desirable Espers, the Fenrir, which is key defense for that tier 3 Kefka fight, so that's another great one to find.
Yeah, that was... Mount Zozo was on my list, but I got my 10th Esper coming off of one of the other checks, so I decided not to go for it, so that's unfortunate.
Alright, so we've got Schwantz who beat the Atma check with everybody standing, which is great. Atma, lots of MP and lots of XP from that fight, so it's one of those blessing and a curse situations. But he does have to get through this next fight as well. We know it's not going to be Magi Master, because we saw where he was, so let's see what he's got to fight through to get this last check.
And by the way, Fenrir with life 3.
Oh, that's also very nice find. And he finds Locke. Well, I'll say, we talked about the risk. Locke is a great character to find, right? He's got a couple really quick checks.
Yep, and that's a sketch and natural magic unlock.
One of the interesting things about finding a character at the end of this check too, especially with Schwantz only having 3 Espers, is it opens up another path of potential checks through Locke's checks that it's very unlikely a lot of other racers are going to find, because most of them aren't going to go through the mine carts. So it will be interesting to see if that makes a difference here at all.
Yep, and there's that slight peak I was mentioning before with the Cave of the Valdette. You saw that also had the Esper laying on the ground there, so just continue through and pick it up.
Yep, one of those great checks. It's really good to take advantage of the checks you can peek at. And Sato finds the Stooges, which can be not an ideal thing to find, so hopefully this works out okay.
The best way to get through the Stooges is to kill the top guy. I just remember he's like Phoenix, where he does fire and life stuff. So you try to take out the top one first. Then the bottom and the front, yeah, it doesn't really matter which one really. Kind of about the same. I think one of them might have heal. No, the top one has heal, so the bottom two are kind of the same.
Yeah, usually if you've got instant death available, if you can take care of the top one, then you can use an instant death to take out the one in the bottom left, who's Larry. Or you can just kill him with fire. As Softnum in the chat mentioned, they are color-coded for convenience. The blue Larry is ice type. The red Curly is fire type. And the yellow Mo here is bolt. So if you can't remember the elements, just look at the colors.
Yep, and that Narcy check was an Esper. It was actually Ragnarok Esper or Fixed Dice.
So fixed dice is interesting, right? Schwanz has got Dragoon Boots and Dragon Horn available. He knows there's offerings around, so the fixed dice does have value. If he picks up Terra, which I doubt he will, but if he does and goes for the that check, the Welk check, he could pick up those fixed dice if he needs to. I don't think he does. I think he's got a good enough offense, but it's always nice to know your options.
Oh, okay. So this is the other long chaining check that we mentioned before. This is the Cyan Dream check, and it's the second set of Dragon Boots.
Oh, and an ice shield. So
Yeah,
some good loot here for sure. We did see him pick up that curse shield, but it's got 28 battles, so that's probably just worth selling for a couple thousand GP.
Yeah, that's not gonna be good. Wow, that's a very long thing in chat there.
Yeah, basically, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Basically, if you are confident, I'll say, in your abilities, you can take the route, or you're more likely to take the route that is going to probably give you the best time. I'll say a player of lesser skill or lesser confidence is going to take longer to do those same things, right? So you don't want to take the same route as a better player, because that better player is going to be able to do that same thing faster than you. So you want to take another route, hopefully find a faster path, even if it's less likely, and that's how you can pass that better player. So yeah, it totally makes sense. Sometimes it's really good to throw something random into your runs. I know some people check weird chests sometimes, or weird shops that they know nobody else checks, like I don't know, hopping into a World of Ruin Nikia, because there's no reason to check that town, just because nobody else is going to check it. And hey, maybe that's where the Illuminas are at, right? So I totally get it. It's kind of fun. Yep, there's World of Balance Mobilis is a good one. I know a fellow racer named Jexrock always checks the chest to the north of South Figaro World of Balance in Sabin's house. There's one chest there, and he always checks that. One of these days, it's going to be that Illumina.
So, second Ragnarok, I think, is that the same? Nope, second Ragnarok now on Schwanz. Oh, that's a Guardian in for the Coral, Strago's Coral check there. Not one of the... Oh, but Thunder Rod, that's going to help out a little bit.
Yeah, that's a wise play. Like I mentioned before, Thunder and Water are the weaknesses for your robotic types, and Realm's got that... She's got the highest magic power on the team, so that's why, you're going to have her using that as opposed to somebody else.
Yep. And that is, Schwanz now seeing that it is not a character for the Dream.
Right, and so that...
kind of want to skip... Yeah, I'm sorry, you want to skip that car, because all it is just setting up on what the chests are going to be for this next section here on the puzzle. So you just skip the car because you really don't need it.
Yeah, and so that means that there's a guaranteed Esper here for Schwanz on the second of 3. Well, it's so the first check is Esper item, the second check is character Esper, and then the third check is Esper item. So the fact that he knows that second check is not character means it's a guaranteed Esper. If anybody is curious about the checks and what the outcome potentials are for the checks. As I mentioned before, plug. You can hit ff6wc.com, click the wiki link at the top, and there are guides for all of the checks in the game that tell you all of the possible rewards. So absolutely check those out. And Saberwolf coming in hot with the command. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Just doing my job.
And Sato makes, I don't want to say easy work because Realm seems to be limping away, but he makes decent work there of the Guardian. Another one of those mixed blessings where you get...
Already got a little revenge on that bolt thing there. That's like experience egg.
Oh, man. So, you don't want to see a dead check, but a lot of experience eggs available in this seed. Another question in the chat. Paradise, is there a heuristic for imp means Z, merchant means Y, or soldier means X? No. They are randomly chosen. They just mean Esper or item. But there is no heuristic between the two. I'll just sit here and answer questions all day. This is great. Team Chuckles asked if there is what the Terra 6 out of 6 means. So the way Worlds Collide works is it's essentially a scavenger hunt where you can fly around in the world of Ruin or the world of Balance, and you do these checks where you fight bosses and you check things and you do things that generally are story related in the vanilla game. And basically you have to collect a prerequisite number of characters and espers and maybe kill a certain number of dragons depending on the settings of the seed before you can go to Kefka's tower and take on Kefka. So in this particular seed you need to get 6 characters and 10 espers. So that 6 of 6 means that each of the runners has collected 6 characters, which is the requisite number of characters. We see Schwantz with 4 espers, who's about to get his 5th. And Sato has 6 characters and 6 espers and is following right behind Schwantz going through Science Stream.
And that first check there was a unicorn, and also another cool thing about that, you also get your swordsmanship up to max level. So if any of your characters had swordsmanship as their randomly chosen skill, now they have a maxed out.
And there you go.
There's a double esper.
Yeah, I love the dream check. It can be hit or miss, but if you learn the path through the puzzle, honestly, it's one of the more efficient checks in the game. You only have to fight 2 bosses. If you know the puzzles and you can run through it quickly, it doesn't take very long, and you have the potential to snag 3 quick espers there. It can bite you because the first and last checks might not be progress, but it can be very good.
Meteor, Fire 2, Life, Bio, Flare, Muddle. There's a lot of good stuff. Those spells there. Well, and P10's not great.
So Schwantz caught up to Sato in terms of characters and espers, but we know Sato's about to get 2 more espers coming through here, so we'll see what Schwantz can do in the meantime to keep it evened up.
Yeah, so there's one more chain series he hasn't done yet, which is Island. Looks like he's going to do Cave in the Veldet, which is another esper. So it'll be his 7th after he gets to the cave.
Yeah, at this point, I would be surprised if anybody did Cave in the Veldt unless it became... to do Floating Continent, unless it became mandatory. It's a really good... It can be a really good check early, because it's got a high potential to give you characters and espers, as well as you grind through a lot of fixed encounters, so it's a really good way to get levels, too. Later game, with them already having the character requirement, it could be a lot of time sink, and it could gain you a lot of levels that you don't really need at this point. And so it's a much riskier play late game. So unless you get stuck and you have to do it, I would be surprised if we saw our racers take that on at this point.
Yeah, and I am going to note that this seed, as you can tell so far, everybody, is that this is a pretty quick seed, actually. There was a couple little dead checks, but this is a relatively just chain, straightforward seed. I mean, given starting characters.
Yeah, and if you can get those experience eggs on people and level them up quickly, they outpace the scaling very, very easily, and then the boss fights become essentially trivial, which is what you want as a racer.
Yeah, Flying Magimaster, which was, I believe that was the just the airship check.
Yeah, I honestly didn't notice if Sato just kind of ran into him while flying around the world of ruin. Otherwise, he would have had to have gone for the floating continent and maybe turned away. I honestly don't remember. We do have a sheet, though, that we can check. I just don't have it up because I'm not a very good commentator.
No, I'm looking at it right now. I'll let you know in a little bit.
It was accidental. Thank you, Ceiling Cat. Ceiling Cat, our wonderful tracker this evening. She's the one ensuring that these nice 6 out of 6 Terras and 6 out of 10 Espers are correct. And she's paying a lot more attention than I am. And thank you, Saber, for throwing out some stuff so you can follow our crew here. Unfortunately, Jackamus Wedge fell ill at the last moment and was not able to commentate, which is why you're stuck with me, Javinator. But you have me, myself, and Saber on commentating, and we've got Ceiling Cat there doing the tracking. We also play this game from time to time, as well as other games. Feel free to check us out. And our wonderful runners, of course, that you're watching flex a little bit of skill here. We've got the Schwantz and Seito Kiaba, so absolutely give them follow as well. They run this at least once a week to get their ladder race in. And yeah, Javamus Wedge, no thank you. Boo Jack.
Boo.
All right, so Seito's coming into the home stretch here. He only needs 2 more Espers. We'll see if this is the point in the game where he considers going for a quick check.
The mesh tech facility yet, so.
Yeah, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad play because he can warp out after the first or second checks. I don't think he's done World of Ruin Kefka. Oh, I didn't realize Atma weapons were for sale. Interesting.
Hello.
So
that's very interesting.
Yeah, so there was a somewhat recent update to the game where there is a flag available that allows you to essentially make the Atma weapon a much more powerful item. It's essentially, in vanilla, it's not really an optimal choice until you hit something like level 60.
Super late game, yeah.
Yeah, which in these kind of standard races you never do. Usually well, if you're being competitive, you never do. And so something was introduced to say, hey, let's make this useful so people want to use it, and now it's more optimal around mid-level 30s, which is great. We also know that offerings are for sale, and Atma weapon pairs great with offerings, so it will be, I don't know if he picked one up or if he's planning to pick one up, but it'll be interesting to see if he ends up going for that as a strat, because that's very viable play.
I know that Genji gloves are available, so you can easily do a Genji glove double offering for double Atmos. You pair that up with the 100% health and level up a little bit. It's going to be really strong, like especially this stage of the game. So.
Yeah. The Atma weapon's damage is based on how much health you have relative to your max health, and it's based on the level you are, and those are the main things. So basically, with these experience eggs, you can jack your level up high fairly quickly, and you make that Atma weapon a lot more valuable. Kilbasiago pointing out it's not nearly as good with this insane lack of healing, but, Seito did keep Strago along the whole way, so he's at least got that health command, so he can spam that for free.
And there's some snipers available there for Schwantz.
Yeah, they'll work in a pinch as well. Definitely not top tier, but they're useful if you can pair them again with an offering. I don't remember what the rewards were here. I remember that lock was the last thing for Magitech Factory, but I don't remember what the first 2 were. Is Seito going to get his 2 Espers here and hit go mode?
I believe it is. Let's see. The first one's an item, second one's an Esper.
Okay, so that'll put Seito at 9 of 10. So he'll probably go for something that is more likely to be an Esper, like a World of Ruin, Narsh, check, or something like that.
Yeah,
we'll see what he does.
In the Swans, this is also an Esper, but he's going to take the monster in the box, unfortunately, and it's going to be Master Bug.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's looking for. Usually if you're taking monsters in a box, you're looking for those offerings, which is maybe what he's going for. Or you're looking for maybe Minerva that you could get off of Pugs, not Master Pug, but Pugs. This is just
the Guardian, right?
The Gradius. This is going to get you the Gradius.
Yeah, Gradius, the other cheaper. Not a great item.
No, you can run from this fight. I probably would have because it's lengthy. And again, it doesn't really give you much. I mean, the Gradius is good for selling, I guess, but it's not great.
Tara's like, who's winning? Well, it's kind of grabs. I mean, Seto is kind of on a bit of a long check. He's gonna have to get through 2 bosses, and that's a second monster on a box check, and that's unfortunately the starter Lobo in the box, so that's just gonna be a quick punch in the face and done. So Swans has a bit of a shorter check. They're gonna be sitting on 8 of 10, so they're gonna be tied at the end of this check here. But like I said, Seto Kaiba, we know is going to have at least 2 bosses to get to the Esper, and then he has to take the risk on warping out or just doing that 3rd long Charlie check, which again is not going to be an Esper character. So.
Yeah, so with Seto Kaiba requiring 1 more Esper after we know he's going to get that Esper from the number 30 or number 24 check. Yeah. I would be very surprised if he went through and fought the mine carts.
Yeah, because on this one, he already got the Genji shield, so that's kind of like, let's see if he's going to go for the item. Yep, he went for the item, so that's the Dragon Ore for him.
I don't know if he ever found the boots or not.
Yeah, he doesn't have a jumper on his team, does he?
No, but, you know, a lot of times you might not... Some people won't necessarily buy the boots without the horn if you don't think it's worthwhile. And with this team, you know, you wouldn't really be jumping with Stragor Realm, probably. You could with Cyan, but he's got Throw, and then Celis is swinging away with that Ragnarok. So he might just sell it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Ninja Stars for Swans. And Fire Skins. That'd be good for some tier 1 Kefka Tower, and maybe some for the girl later on in tier 3.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping Bag stocking up for the later game here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Seto's going to do after this. I don't believe he's done the auction house yet, and if he talks to the person at the door, he'll find out there's an Esper there. Very variable in how much time that takes. He's got, you know, World of Ruin, Kefka available. I don't know if he's got any other just item or Esper checks available.
I don't know, I haven't seen anybody do a check except for the auction house here, and it looks like Swans is doing some more shopping, going after those Minervas.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what he's been kind of fighting those monsters in a box for. Like, if he doesn't feel great about his defense, so he's trying to get Minervas. He's not going to be able to afford it, though.
I mean, enough, yeah, I still gonna need another 20,000.
Oh, he's thinking about it. Thinking about the Mega Elixir.
Don't sell the Mega Elixir, whoa, holy smokes. We're going crazy mode here. Yikes.
Also sees that offering. I think, you know, and this is, I think this is kind of what I was talking about at the start of the seed. You end up having a seed with a lot of stuff that's good to buy, and it's not, you know, you don't always know exactly which way you want to go for damage or for healing or whatever, and you kind of run out of money, and you maybe kind of halfway went for a couple different strats. So I think he might be having kind of a debate in his head right now about what to do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's about to discover that there's just going to be sets here waiting in the caboose.
Yeah.
This is going to be a bailout.
Interesting that Seto chose Opera House, in my opinion. I don't know if he's feeling like he wants more levels.
Well, I did see the experience egg moving around on various characters, so he is doing a lot of menuing and swapping around the experience eggs. So.
Yeah, it could be intentional. Could just be looking for those late game levels.
Well, that's what personally, you want to see, single monsters, so that's going to be fights.
Yeah, and Toe Cutter gives a decent amount of experience for a single monster too, so that's not a bad find at all. Question from the chat, is Doomgaze boss spot still in the sky somewhere in randomizer or moved? So the boss spot is still in the sky. It's not necessarily Doomgaze. In this seed, actually, it is Magimaster. And so it's randomly somewhere in the sky. Or if you happen to get Setzer on your team, you can basically in the World of Ruin fight the Doomgaze fight intentionally.
Yeah, you can force fight it just like you can with Shadow. You get Shadow going into the Sky Island. So it kind of, you can kind of force once you get Setzer into the party. So that's a Doom Dragons, not normal dragon.
Yeah, that's probably a wise warp way, especially with the lack of healing. Although Strago does have that health command. Doom Dragons will cast Fallen 1 on you, which will bring all of your party members down to 1 hit point, which is not ideal.
Is casting all of them or just one? I thought it was just single target for them.
I don't know. I believe it hits everybody. I think the nature of the ability is multi-target, but I never trust anything in my brain. So, meanwhile, we got Schwantz beating that Air Force that we saw earlier. A little easier to take at this point in the game.
That's Pumbaba Part 2, by the way, not Part 1. Part 1 is structured as a actual permanent encounter through the Terror check in the World of Ruin. But Pumbaba is, the second half of that fight is a randomized boss.
So Schwantz just picked up his 9th Esper in the Doma check. So now he's at 6 characters, 9 Espers. So really, you know, if this is a dead check for Sato, they are absolutely neck and neck. Otherwise, Sato will be in go mode, but it's still very close race. Tension is palpable.
Yep, well, we gotta wait for the character sweep in, or is it a random thing?
So in the old days, this used to be character or Esper, but it did change to potentially be character Esper item in a semi-recent update. And we get a Magicite, so Sato Kiaba is in go mode.
Yep, he's going to go to Kefka, might do some late second shopping here. Is definitely going to hit the healing bucket here. Yeah, that's a bad Esper though, unfortunately. Swan's doing wow. Okay, Swan's checking Magi Tower, and apparently is going to climb Magi Tower. Woo.
Yeah, so what Schwantz is going for here is the guaranteed Esper, right? So he's basically sacrificing the time of this check. He's sacrificing the time of this check for the knowledge that he's going to get an Esper. So this is a pretty good... Oh, that's bad luck for Sato.
Another Magimaster rune. Oh man.
So the Fanatic's Tower here that Schwantz is doing, basically you can see at the bottom if it's going to be a character or an Esper, and you're guaranteed to get a top tier item at the top. And when I say top tier, there's just a series of items that are in the literal, there are tiers of items and they are in the top tier of those items. So, you know, it might be a Genji helm or something and you're like, that's not very top tier. But anyway, so you're guaranteed to get that top tier item from the top. There's a dragon on the way for experience, which is what he's going to fight here. And then he's guaranteed to get an Esper at the bottom. So I do get the play. It's a lengthy check, but there's no chance to it. There, you know, it's that guarantee.
The problem is you're forced into using just magic only, and I have not seen very good magic in this seed. Although we are going to use a fire rod and this fire 2 on Strago. But this is going to be a really, really long fight, though.
Yeah, we saw Berserk available on Sato's side. I'm not sure if Schwantz ever picked up Berserk.
No, I see a mute and a muddle. I don't see Berserk.
Yeah, I like Berserk in the tower, especially if you got someone like Celis swinging a Ragnarok. But yeah, like you said, it doesn't look like he's got it.
I'm going 4,000 damage. Oh, that's a big hit.
Yeah, that's not good for the Atma weapon. But takes out the Storm Dragon in the next hit, so not a big deal. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, so one thing some people forget too is yep, you can only use magic going up, but you can also use items. And so if you happen to find super balls for sale, elemental shields and rods are not available in this particular flag set. Wow, and Sato hits the offering on the dragon fight. That is interesting. So I suspect, I could be wrong, I suspect he'll be giving that to Strago. But yeah, that's quite a find. And Schwantz takes out the blue dragon.
I did pick up a Genji glove, so I'm surprised that maybe he never picked it up. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I think the Genji glove was in the barrel in South Figaro, the one that everybody skips.
And Schwantz finds another experience egg behind that dragon. Wow, a lot of experience eggs this seed.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised we don't see more of them equipped though. Like, I would put them on everybody. Like I said, levels are better than everything. It can be really tempting to, you know, use earrings and Atlas armlets and stuff like that to get your damage up. Levels get your damage up. Use levels.
Now, the interesting about this particular randomizer that we're running for the ladder series is that for every character gain, Esper gain, and I think even Dragon fought, it raises the level of all the creatures you're going to fight by 2 levels every single time. So if you get an experience egg, you can out-level your competition, and you can just crush them in single hits with raccoons and stuff. So...
Yeah, and the final boss in this flag set is not scaled. So basically, you're going to have an easier time on the final boss. Yeah. Yeah, and Kilbasiago, that's correct. So sometimes dragons are required, and sometimes they're not. Just depends on how the creator of the seed set it up. In this case, you don't need to fight dragons. They're just a good source of items and experience. And so killing dragons in this particular race will not increase the progression, but in one where it is required, it absolutely will. Meanwhile, Sato hopped in the tower.
And that's an Ultros 2 fight here.
Yeah, Ultros is a really nice find in Fnatic's tower because he's pretty much just weak to regular attacks, or regular elemental magic. And so, yeah, that Fire 2 and that Ice 2 is going to do great. And now he used the Berserk on Sabin, got the hit to get the kill.
Seto Kaiba blowing through the Kefka's tower here. We got Pearl Lance going on Realm.
Yeah, we see a level
that tower there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great point out there. Pearl Lance, you know, you think of it as something that you want to jump with, which you do, but it is good to just throw on a magic user to get that magic bonus, which is nice.
Yeah, that's one thing about Edgar. When you look at him when you play through the game, he doesn't exactly have the big Vigor for the hits, magic power for the magic, but when you get his items, which is like Pearl Lance and Regal Crowns and stuff, you can actually pump his stats up pretty good. And depending on what Esper's using too. A Flame Shield, that's helpful.
So we see Sato ended up finding Tri-Talk. And, you know, this is one of those situations. Look at that Atma weapon, right? So Tri-Talk usually a pain in the butt because you got to hit it with fire or something like that. But Atma weapon has that nice defense-ignoring property. And he's just cutting right through the ice and hitting the bird.
Yep, Frozen Bird. And that's going to be Schwanz's 10th Esper. So Schwanz is going to be go mode now, but is about the whole section of the tower behind.
Yeah, Sato's definitely got the lead, but he hasn't, like, depends on how long it takes Schwanz to get in there. If Schwanz kind of does some extra fights or whether he just goes, so he's going to go do some shopping. But he's close. He's close, right? Like, one wipe on Kefka's tower, which is always possible. You know, you got Sato taking some dragon fights here. You know, it could be close.
Scully.
Yeah, I think we already saw that Celis was level 48, and now he's taking a Skull Dragon with her having the experience egg on, so he's just pumping her level up like crazy. Same with Realm. Because she's swinging that Atma weapon, and like I mentioned before, that Atma weapon is based on... Yeah, based on... Oh no. Sorry, based on level. I probably would have tried to attack Celis with Realm there to maybe take off the model. But this is what I was talking about, right? Seems like he's in the lead. Things can turn around. Oh, wow. Skull Dragon. That's a lucky attack.
Runic.
It's a lucky attack.
Well, can't use magic until Celeste can hit here, so... Good blocker disaster. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh there. That was just funny with Runic with Pearl.
Yeah, yeah. I think we see Schwantz kind of eyeing up those Minervas again. I think he really wants them, and I just don't think he can afford them.
Yeah, no. Yeah, when I was looking at armor, I had a hard time because I could never get the money I needed to buy stuff, so I ended up giving everybody music gear. I think it was for their armor, so... on the seed.
Yeah, armor's kind of a funny thing. It's really useful, but it's not necessarily needed. And so it's kind of a funny thing. You'll see some of the top runners, and they'll just go in with, like, nothing, and basically try to deal out damage as quickly as possible, and have their characters just essentially be like paper napkins.
So on this, in this particular run, when you want to go through Kefka's tower, because I know we have a lot of some newer people here. When you run through Kefka's tower, this randomizer, your third team in your party is going to be, in your group, is going to be your strongest one, because they're the ones that have to fight 3 bosses, as opposed to the other 2 teams really have to fight 1 each. So usually your third team is going to be your 2 strongest characters in your team. Then you take your other 2 strong characters that were in the team throughout the whole seed, split them up in the other 2, and then you just fill them with whoever's left.
Yeah, so one thing to note is that kind of the center path that you see Sato going down right now has those extra bosses, like Saberwolf just mentioned. Your second or third team can go down the middle here if you want to. So some players like to load up one team, myself included, generally as the third party, and just bust through all those extra fights. And there's also that extra fight, which is the Inferno fight that you fight kind of before you get to the statues. And I'm definitely on board with that strategy. But some people do like to mix it up. They like to have their third party kind of come up and take that first fight, and then maybe their second party come in and take these extra fights up the middle, just to spread the experience around a little more. So yeah, you can see different strategies there for sure. But in general, I'm definitely with what Saberwolf said, is usually you see people load up their third team with their most powerful characters, or their most powerful party.
Yeah, usually the thought process is like this team's gonna have the more of the chance of winning like Magimaster or beating some other rough boss like Chatternut or something, and that's usually the premise there. And the first statue we're gonna have is
we see Celis with a ridiculous 8,400 health. So
with the Atma weapon, by the way.
Yeah, so I think. So one thing I'll mention, it is somewhat of a common misconception that the amount of health you have is what affects the damage of the Atma weapon. That's not exactly true. It's the level, and it's the amount of health you have relative to your maximum. So if you had a level 60 character who had a 1,000 hit point max, and a level 60 character who had a 9,000 hit point max, if they're both full up, they'll do the same damage. But I'll tell you, it's a lot easier to maintain someone with 8,400 hit points near the top than it is someone with 1,000.
I'm surprised, because Seto does have offering available. I believe he had one of his characters has it in his item. Didn't give it to Celeste though, so kind of surprised at that.
Yeah, maybe he just likes the targeting, but yeah, offering pairs very well with the Atma weapon.
117.30 for the end time for Schwantz to the tower.
Oh, I wonder if he's passing the Atma weapon around. That's a somewhat common strategy, which I really like. Is to kind of have, yeah, you need 3 teams that can all go through, but if you have one really kind of powerful setup and it can be equipped by multiple paths, there's no reason not to pass it around if you can do your menuing fast enough.
Plume Tat and Kung Fu Suit. That's rough. I will say so.
Yeah,
That is like starter level gear there. And, well, you know what? Ultros #1. I guess you can't get much easier than that.
We got a question in the chat from Gaming Golfer. Wait, how did he get Realm to wear the Moogle Charm? So in this randomizer, there is a flag to choose it, but basically standard settings allow anybody to equip the Moogle Charm. Just because most of the time we don't kind of want the random encounters affecting the race too much. We want players to be taking encounters when they want to be taking encounters and get through the bosses faster. And that's really how you get kind of these seeds completed in a reasonable amount of time, right? This is going to be assuming no disasters, knock wood, no caster's curse. Saito is going to be finishing somewhere in the 130 range. Whereas, you know, if you're forced to take a lot of extra encounters, it'll take a long time. WC question mark? Welcome to the Worlds Collide randomizers, Gaming Golfer. This is an open world randomizer. Oh, go ahead, Saber. It's all yours.
I was going to start. I was going to do the run through. Yep, this is the Final Fantasy 6 or 3, depending on which area of the world you were with when the game came out. This is what we call Worlds Collide. It's the Final Fantasy 6/3 randomizer. For more info, you can head over to ff6wc.com. And what we did was, in our lovely community here in Praise Atma, is we took the game and we mixed it all up, the characters, the monsters, the treasures, and everything else, and that is Junior, not Matchmaker, it's Junior on screen. We mixed it all up and spit it back out, and everybody runs through it as fast as they can to just enjoy it if you just want to mix it up and play probably one of the best games that was ever made, you know? So.
Yeah, like we're watching a race here, so we have 2 people racing on in this ladder league type situation with kind of a standard set of racing flags, and they're trying to go as fast as you can. But there's a lot of people who play this that don't try to go as fast as they can, and you can set up really challenging seeds. You can set up really easy ones if you just want to fight one fight and get like 1 million experience and have 9,999 and just stomp all over everything. Go for it. You can change the sprites around and the colors and make it all wacky. You can change everybody's names before you start it. So there's lots of different ways to play. We see kind of the racing style here. But yeah, absolutely hop in if you're a fan of Final Fantasy 6/3. This is a great way to relive it in a different way. And I like it because it's kind of in little bite-sized chunks. Like I personally race, not necessarily well. But, you know, it's a lot easier to finish an entire seed in one sitting as opposed to trying to, you know, play through the story again if you don't want to. So, yeah, absolutely. Come check it out.
And that's how I stumbled on this back in February, and Final Fantasy 3, 6, whichever you want to call it, depending where it was released in USA like that. It's probably one of the better games that was ever produced by Square Enix, and it just got me to fall in love with this game again, and just it makes it refreshing, you know, to try to play.
There's also a wonderful community in the Discord, so if you just really like talking about Final Fantasy VI with a bunch of other nerds, welcome. We kind of, okay, we've been talking about chat and a whole bunch of other random stuff, which is awesome, but probably should have mentioned that Schwantz is in the tower now, and he's got he's got 2 players up at the statue switches right now, and he's heading up there with his far left party, so he'll be taking on those fights soon. And we've got Saito, who's about to hop in and fight Kefka. So I think Sato's fairly well equipped for this, so hopefully he does okay, but anything can happen on Kefka's the Kefka fight.
Yeah, he did rearrange his items again. I didn't see who had what, when, where, why, how. So yeah, but we got another question or notation. The character gating, as opposed to item gating, has enabled a randomizer experience that feels more organic and intentional than any other randomizer I've checked out. It's a breath of fresh air compared to Mario and Zelda randomizers. That is very true. I've seen other randomizers like that, and just the character gating, just to have to get a character to unlock other areas of the game. I think that's what makes this so much more fun. But there is
So,
a way. But there is
oh,
there are check marks you can check to make it so it's completely open world. So you don't need to have the characters to play it that way. So if you just want a completely open world and completely just play the game however way you want to play, that is available. So,
absolutely. So we got Sato taking on tier 1 right now, and let's talk through the Kefka fight a little bit. So it's a 4-tier fight. We're on tier 1 right now. Typically, you're looking at physical attacks from the big bad guy there. There is what we call the long arm, which is the longer one that's closer to the screen, the head, which is the head, and the short arm, which is the one that's further away. The longer arm, yeah, the longer arm is susceptible to instant death and break. The head is weak to fire, and the other one just kind of punches you really hard. And so usually what you want to try to do is take out the long arm first, and then the head, and then the short arm. Also, if you leave the head or the long arm until last, you're going to get some nasty counterattacks when they die. Whereas Sato there left the short arm till last, which is kind of hard to tell because they don't have any indication whatsoever other than the poof noise. But there's no counterattacks that way. If you leave the head till last, you're going to get a nasty quake, and if you leave the long arm till last, you're going to get up to 3 shockwaves cast on you, which can be bad.
yep. And before you even finish that, Seto's moved on to tier 2. Now tier 2 has 4 spots to hit. There's the guy all the way in the back. He's the magic user. You want to try to mute that one as quickly as possible. Then right around where that feminine is holding right next to the vine there, that one I believe is machine right around there. That one is actually susceptible to sudden death, so exit zone, doom, stuff like that, which is fun to cast. Siren uses the mute, so that's going to mute that back end target. So you're going to see a lot of misses. Oh no, that's right, this one doesn't misses, whatever. Then I'm going to skip ahead to the bottom where that looks like a beast there is on the bottom. That's called Tiger. It is weak to ice, and you just want to pound that down as fast as possible because it has no other weakness, just ice damage. And last but not least is the blue guy in the front. It's just general damage there, so just kind of that one up. So the progression is mute the bag, kill the one in the middle instantly, focus down Tiger, focus down the blue guy, reset, and then kill off the magic at the end.
Yeah, and there are some reasons for that too. There's a lot of logic that goes into this kind of stuff. The Tiger, for example, when it gets low health, is going to cast, it's going to potentially turn you into a zombie. And if you got some really powerful, hard-hitting characters, that is a problem. And so, yeah, you want to try and take out tools or machine as fast as you can, and then you want to focus on that Tiger to get it to not have it cast zombie. And then, as was mentioned, you got magic and tools, or magic and hit. Big blue guy. And so the big blue guy, when you bring big blue guy down to 0 hit points, you're going to get 10 hits as the counter, and it's going to physically attack your party 10 times in a row. And so that can be really dangerous because it can kill someone, and if somebody dies before you, kind of right before you transition to the next tier, they get left behind for the rest of the fight. The magic dude at the back left is muted, so he can't cast anything, but he does have death counters at the end, where he'll cast up to 3 spells, and he can cast quarter and then a couple dispels. So none of those can actually kill you. So that's why a lot of times you're going to see people leave magic until last, because even though quarter can take you way down in health, it's not going to kill anybody, and so you know everybody's going to be safe going to the next level.
Yep. And so that way you see a lot of people just reset their take some ethers, just maybe cast some tier 3s, or in this case health from Strago. That's a quad 9 hit. So that's why you're going to see that a lot. There's the 10 hits.
I'm just going to repeatedly plug the community. So there's some great resources on the Wikipedia, which is located at the top of the FF6 page, as well as in the Discord, that have some really cool infographics and guides to how to beat Kefka if you're interested. When I started racing, I absolutely had that up on a second monitor or my phone every time I fought it. But yeah, plug.
We also got Swans. Don't want to forget about them. They're running through this. They're fighting Ultros #1 as one of the statues.
Yeah, Schwant's making their way through the tower very well, setting a good pace, taking advantage of that fire weakness, and should be on to Kefka shortly. I don't think any of the bosses really should give him any pause, really.
I could go for a long line right now. So we're gonna be finishing up. There's a Dispel. That's the first stage of death. Now Dispel, even though the magic is muted, it will still cast Dispel when it dies, as its final breath hit. So now we're gonna move on to tier number 3.
So, continuing with the explanation of strategies, tier 3 is only 2 parts. There is Girl, which is the wacky floating head on the left, and Sleep, which is the lazy bum with the torch on the bottom. And so Girl will absorb... Girl has exactly 9,999 hit points, sorry. And will cast Whirlwind and heal them both up. And Girl will absorb every element. And so, luckily, you've got a Celis swinging for 4 9s, and you can take it out right away. But you have to make sure you have something that can do non-elemental damage to Girl. Sleep is super dangerous, and so you're going to see a Fenrir cast here, which is going to give all of the characters image. And that's important because when you kill Sleep, he's going to use Calmness once or twice, which is going to instantly kill a party member. And so that is actually a physical attack, and so it will miss if you have image on like this. And so that's why you see Fenrir cast, and it's such an important aspect.
I just saw Ragnarok get thrown at Sleep's face. That was interesting.
Yeah, no item hoarding here. Use what you got. Throw it all.
Yep, and now we have a timer set for Stragos. Really gotta spike down this Sleep here.
And there's your Calmness.
There's a Calmness. Of course, that's gonna miss because we got Fenrir up. Really didn't want Strago the health to continue there, but moving on because of that, thanks to Fenrir.
And now we've got tier 4. Yeah, Kefka, the big dude. So if you don't do a requisite amount of damage in your first round of attacks, which I'm not... Like, Sato's got some wicked damage, so he might do it. But if you do enough damage, you'll skip the first attack, which is usually a fallen one, which brings everybody down to 1 hit point, which is why you'll often see characters hoarding a Mega Elixir till the end of the game, because you can use that immediately after to bring everybody back up. Otherwise, you just kind of keep smacking him. After he gets below certain health thresholds that I don't know because I'm not very knowledgeable of the game, he'll start doing counters like Hyperdrive and Ultima. And so usually what you'll do is you'll see people kind of hang out and chill on the damage if you're worried about him casting that. And there we see the Fallen One cast. So he didn't do quite enough damage.
Where's the Mega Elixir there? I guess, did he not have one?
Well, nope, he never fought that Magimaster, and so he may not have gotten one.
Free though. There's still a free one though.
Yeah, he just might not have picked it up.
That sucks. Ooh, there's a... Wow, okay, so this Kefka is not messing around. There's the charge up for the Goner. So we've hit that threshold, so if Celeste can... We're going to help Celeste try to get that max damage hit in. Maybe get some quicks off to try to extend the charge up phase where Kefka's going to sit there with a shaking screen for a while until he's able to cast his Gunner, which does a lot of damage. It's really good, but it is going to take out pretty much everybody but Celeste here unless we can get some heals up. So that was the first part of quick there for Strago, and punch in the face for the second part. Is that gonna be enough damage? Doesn't look like it.
So what you'll often see people attack during the Goner phase because you can't proc any any counters after that. And there we go, Krakow, GG to Sato Kiaba.
Now the clock on your screen is a approximate time. It is not the actual time. The official time is actually on their stream as they go along. And they will post that in our Discord chat in a minute for the official time.
It is 132.13, which will be coming up on the screen in just a second. And then I will ask if Sato can come into the room for an interview.
Meanwhile, we wait for him. The Swans is getting through his first tier. And then we're going to go into that tier 2, which is that four-headed beast here. I need this in my life. Well, we're glad we're able to provide that for you. The Swans is going to do the same exact thing. We're going to mute the back character, the magic person with the siren call. Get Celeste back to normalcy, because that's where all the damage has been for this seed so far. Odin is actually going to be used to get rid of the machine. You're going to see, oh, it failed, actually. That's unfortunate. So usually Odin is another means of trying to instant death machine or tools, depending on which what part of the world you're from. But Celeste is going to follow up with Doom. That's going to do it for the machine. So the machine is down and the background's muted. So all you got to do now is just focus down Tiger.
Okay, and we're going to have Sato coming in just a sec after sitting in your chair for like an hour and a half, staring at the screen. You know, got to go bio break and such.
Yeah. Shuriken really doing some damage there, about 5,000 damage to Tiger. Ice 2, unfortunately, no Ice 3 available, but 6,000, that's still going to be decent enough. Looks like Tiger is dead, so now we're focusing on blue. I noticed that the damage there is kind of going to where looks like where Tools is, but they are actually hitting the blue guy.
And we've pulled in Sato Kiaba for the interview. Sato, GG, well done, nice race today.
Thanks, man. Thank you, everyone.
So how did you feel about that seed? How was it for you?
It was definitely interesting. You don't run a low to no magic seed very often, especially rocking Realm with magic power +2 and experienced eggs, and not really being able to cast a lot of magic with her was interesting. But the game definitely gave me enough Atma weapons and Ragnaroks to make do. You know, that and a very persistent magic master who really wanted to have a chat or something.
Yeah, we saw that. So I got a question for you out of curiosity. Why, I believe I saw that you picked up an offering from that last dragon fight you did, and you were rocking an Atma weapon offense. Is there a reason you didn't use the two in conjunction with one another?
Yeah, partly I forgot until the very beginning of Tier 1.
Yeah, right.
And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I've actually, like, I'm still getting used to Atma weapon, you know, now that it's at half level. I got so used to not using it that, like, the first 2 times I ran a seed and I had it, I didn't know you had to be in the front row versus I thought it was like Valiant Knife where its damage wasn't impacted by it. So I'm learning more about it, and I realized that at one point that was gonna kind of bite me.
Yeah, I mean, you were doing crazy damage with Celis there. I loved your strategy of jacking up her HP so that she could just do wicked damage and keep doing wicked damage even if she took hits. So that was a great strat, and using those experience eggs to good use. So well done there for sure.
Yeah, as soon as I saw there was Atma weapons available, I made a note of it, and then, you know, experience egg went right on her because I knew she could equip it, and yeah, especially when I saw not 1 but 2 HP plus 100 eggs, I knew I was going to be sitting pretty on Atma weapons at the very least, that I could lean on that since the seed was not really given a lot like else, you know, besides that and Ragnarok's.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if I have too many more questions myself. I mean, it was a well-run race, very clean, a lot of logical plays, good work against the bosses. So I thought it was well done. Mr. Wolf, do you have anything for our winner this evening on the sync race?
There was one question in chat. How was your meetings with Magimaster there in the sky there a couple times?
Well, what sucked about the second one was I had like a glitch on my computer where my monitor went out right when that happened.
Oh
And,
no!
So everything went black as it moved all my windows over to like my main screen. So if you notice, I like stopped in midair right at the time because I was like unplugging a monitor cable, and then that happened, and I was like, of course this happened. Like, you know, I can't remember the last time I've run into Doomgay's spot. Nevertheless, two times, and it caused me to start saving at irregular points because I was paranoid that I was going to run into him again.
Yeah, we saw a couple of those safety saves there moving in as we moved along.
Yeah, normally that's something I just don't do. Like, and honestly, it screwed me the first time with having to redo the mansion fight a second time. Because normally I don't save in World of Ruin unless I'm going in somewhere. But yeah, I actually had a question. Maybe you guys know the answer to this. What happened at the end there with Kefka? Because it looked like he decided to never cast Goner, and I was able to get a second round of hits in on him.
Yeah, I saw that. He just kind of sat there shaking for a while.
Yeah.
When you cast Quick like that, it stalls the timer on that, so you can just chain Quick a couple times back to back sometimes, and that stalls that timer that he has for Goner, and that's how you're able to get an extra hit in. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, I know it did Quick work that way. I mean, obviously I knew it would pause it while Quick was going, but I didn't know it like delayed him a whole other turn, which is why you probably saw me pause for a second before I continued doing attacks. I was expecting Goner to hit there.
Right.
Now you had Offering available, but you didn't really put anybody. Were you just worried about the attacks, the targeting of it, or you just decided not to use it?
Sure, let's say that. Let's make it sound like that was on my part, and it was totally because I didn't want in tier 1 and 2 my attacks to go everywhere. That was totally it. Actually, it probably would have slowed tier 2 down like significantly if I had Offering on Celis. And I don't know if that would have impacted how much of a time loss that would have been, but it would have made tier 2 a lot more of a slog if I couldn't target with her.
Okay then.
All right, well, any final words for the stream for you this evening, Sato, after a great run?
Not really. Everyone should check out AEW since JRPGs are all the rage in wrestling now. Everyone should check it out. I saw Ultras on TV just 2 weeks ago, so yeah, it's the only plug I have.
All right.
Oh Lord.
Well, thanks again, GG's, and yeah, thanks for racing, and have a good night.
All right, you too, guys.
And we're just going to catch the end here of the Schwantz, who unfortunately we haven't spent as much time on as he has deserved. But he's made his way to tier 4.
Yeah, but he's in the Goner charge up now. We got flares coming out of Strago, who's able to unmute themselves from that shrine. And now we're trying to get the damage in before the Goner goes off. Goner would kill Strago. It's going to be questionable against Cyan. The rest will be fine. Not carrying the Atma weapons, so not to worry about the health.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Because he's just going to Krakow and beat Kefka right then and there. So GG to the Schwantz. Coming in with a time of 1:41:16, which is also an excellent time.
Very excellent time. A lot of times under 2 minutes this week, so good to see everybody starting to tighten up their skill play.
Yeah, love to see it. Love to see the, I've been kind of watching the ladder since the start, and we're on week 10 right now, and it's really cool to see how the times in general have just like tightened up amongst all the racers. So I'm gonna shoot a message over to the Schwans and see if he wants to come in here for a race or for an interview.
For a race, he wants to race again. But we try to pull Swans. That is our 2 runners Twitch accounts. We got Seto Kaiba and the Swans 27. So go ahead and give them a follows if you'd like. We also got our commentating team today. We got Jaximus, who was unable to go in, had a little bit of illness right beforehand. But Javinator, who's also our commissioner for the latter series, is our restreamer, and he joined me in the commentating booth today. I'm Saberwolf, Saber Gaming, 2 M's on that. And last but certainly not the least, our tracker tonight is Ceiling Cat. So go ahead and give all of them a follow as well, if you'd like.
And we've got Schwans in the room right now. GG the Schwans. Well played. Nice race.
Hey, thanks everybody. Appreciate it.
So what were your thoughts on the seed?
I was not happy with my offense for mostly the entire game. I got very lucky a few times with picking up some key items, like getting the dragon horn early with dragoon boots, and when attempting to gather up enough items to sell to get that XP egg in Jador, I walked into Owser's mansion to the chest, and it was an XP egg anyway. So yay, I just saved myself some money there. So I thought that that was pretty lucky, but overall, my offense was pretty bad because there was no good magic that I found except for Flare, which is slow, and Pearl, which is also pretty slow. So, so yeah, I took a pretty different approach than I usually have done in the past. I've did rushing espers this time around. Which is go to auction house first, go to Zen Thief first, and unfortunately, there was 1 out of 3 for those 3 different checks, and the 2 free ones were also characters, so that strategy sort of backfired at first. But then I only did checks where you could peek to see what the reward was first, mostly, right? Or things that I knew would be either Esper characters. So that's kind of how I played my routing out there. I don't know if that's how everybody else did it, but that's sort of how I did it. And it also hurts to have run into a lot of the bosses where they either absorb Pearl or it does nothing to them, right? So my Pearl Lance jumping Sabin was useless in like 5 boss fights, so that was fun.
Yeah, definitely saw that because we were all excited when you found the dragon horn. We're like, oh well, there you go, Sabin just become an end game character. Awesome, there's great offense. And then yeah, you kept running into your Atmas and your Chatternooks and stuff like that. So yeah, there's some definitely some bad luck went your way there. I saw you were I think you went back and window shopped at that Minerva a number of times.
Yeah,
were you really hoping to pick that up?
Yeah, my problem was I didn't have enough money to sell it the first time, and when I got my requirements, I took a look at my armor and I said, wow, Sabin and Cyan don't have anything on. They have their starting gear on, so I knew I needed to get something. I didn't afford the Minerva. I think my one mistake might have been buying the Mega Elixir for 47k. I ended up using it in the last battle, but I think it probably would have been better to buy a second Minerva there, but I was lucky to run into the dragon with the force armor that Cyan can wear, so that was, again, some luck and some unluck, mixed in together, but it's interesting to see how the seed sort of played out and what characters sort of got what. I almost thought about leaving Sabin when I saw him as my 5th character, but obviously I'm glad I didn't after getting the Pearl Lance in the auction house, because he was the only one that could equip it, right? So, very interesting, very interesting. Things could have gone much, much worse very quickly, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, it was definitely a well-run race. Both of you did very well this evening. I love races like this because there were definite routing differences in the races, and yet you still finish fairly close to one another. So that's always excellent to see. Saberwolf, you got anything else for our racer this evening?
Not much really. I mean, at the early game, you guys did the same exact checks, but you did a much faster actually than Seto did. So you came out of South Figaro way ahead of him. But yeah, it's the unfortunate, just back to back, just dead checks on the auction house kind of slowed you down a bit.
Yeah, I think
that was good strategy there.
I was gonna say I think you were both at 6-8 at the same time. I think.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So it was pretty close all the way through. Sato found some better offense at the end of the game, which I really think helped him widen that gap.
Yeah,
he basically found Atma weapons and pumped up Celis and Strago's hit points so that they were doing wicked damage, and that really helped him carry through kind of the last part of the seed, but that was pretty late that he ended up going with that. Otherwise, you guys, like I said, were pretty neck and neck, although taking totally different paths, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the only big differences you two had was you had Lock and Seto had Realm. That was the only slight difference you guys had. So pretty much everything else was about the same.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, that's one of the things I love about playing this and racing, right? Is that you could take two completely different paths and still get to the same place. So hopefully it was fun for the audience out there as well. But yeah, I think it was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how I did. I know Seto is a very good racer. He's in the top 10. I'm trying to claw my way into the top 10. So we'll see how it goes from here on out.
Right on. Well, thanks a lot, Schwantz. Great race. GG. Thanks again for volunteering this evening and making this happen. And yeah, I hope you have a great night.
Yeah, well, thanks to everybody who was helping out behind the scenes, tracking and restreaming, and you two guys for commentating. Obviously, we can't do it without volunteers to do those things, so I appreciate you guys. And we'll catch you next one.
Well, thanks a lot for that, and have a good night. Thanks, Schwantz.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you, bud.
All right, well, that concludes our broadcast for the evening. I think Ceiling Cat, being a wonderful moderator, is going to send us over to another community member with a raid, WR Jones, another top racer, great guy. Absolutely check him out. Active in the community in the Discord that I keep plugging over and over again. If you liked what you saw, please come and hang out. We love more people. We love this game, and we love talking about this game with other people who love this game. And we're big pushers. And yeah, come check it out. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
it's
so
still
that's
in development. This game is still in development. It hasn't been fully 100% released yet. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Version 9.93 or something. I don't know.
9.3.
Anyway,
yep, we're on version 9.
So that's it for me. I've been Javinator. I'm here with Saberwolf. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out, and I hope everybody has a good evening. And yeah, Saberwolf, send us away.
Yeah, we will see you all next week. Again, we like to run these better races 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays. Don't forget to also check us out right here on the FF6 Worlds Collide on Twitch. We do races on Saturdays. They're wacky random ones. I mean, they're not ladders. They make these ridiculously hard randomizers sometimes. And sometimes they throw other games to do it, like bingo night and stuff like that. So check it out on Saturday.
Yep, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I think that's going to be for me. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great night, and see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.